When I was 8, I was friends with the fairies in my yard. But then they started to go missing. I was looking for my Grammy's ring when I found him. Grammy had given me her ring before she died, and losing it felt like losing her. Mom forgot to pay the electricity bill again, and I only felt safe with the ring, I will say. As a child, our house was always dark. I did get used to it eventually. Mom couldn't afford electricity, so we usually sat in candlelight. But when Mom was passed out after drinking too much, my brother and I were stuck. Grammy's ring was the only thing that made me feel safe. I knew I was wearing it in the yard while playing in the flowers after school, and the thought of a night without it twisted my gut. Before she passed, my grandma was our unofficial guardian. After school, we would walk all the way to her house, and she would make us dinner and let us watch TV. But after she died, we didn't have anyone, just Mom and a pitch-dark house. The sky was darkening when I rushed outside, kneeling in Mom's flower garden. Ross, my brother, sometimes locked me out if I stayed out too long. His fears stemmed from our father coming home from work when we were younger and destroying the kitchen if his dinner wasn't made. Not much to say about Dad. He left us a year later. Yes, he took all Mom's savings, but the house was quiet. Sometimes I intentionally sat in the yard at night. Our neighbors usually watched TV at 8 p.m., and I could see the reflection in the front window. I once watched a whole episode of a TV show. I had no idea what it was, but I think it was about space. On that particular night, it was too cold to sit outside. I was wearing Mom's coat over my pajamas, grasping my flashlight. Ross's face was in the window, lit up by Mom's phone. Also our only light. I gestured for him to leave the door open, and he just pressed his face against the glass, making kissy faces. Ever since Dad left, my brother insisted on being the male of the house, repeating what Dad would always say. When we did have electricity, rarely, my brother would force me to microwave him frozen meals because he was the male of the house now that Dad was gone. I wasn't expecting him to leave the door unlocked, which meant another night of crawling up the drain pipe and through my bedroom window. I focused on Grammy's ring, kneeling in the flowers. I grasped at anything: rocks, pebbles, crumbling flower buds, old beer cans. A voice startled me, and I almost toppled over. "It's over here!" The squeak came from a wilted rose, and I briefly wondered if I was seeing things. Bobby, one of my friends in elementary school, once bragged that his father ate mushrooms and thought he was a bird. I became fascinated with the idea, and Bobby and I spent a whole slumber party Googling mushrooms. I vaguely remembered my mother planting some when we were younger, but they were the edible kind, the ones she used in her winter soup. So if I wasn't seeing things, if I wasn't high on mushroom spores, then what exactly did I hear? "Hello? I'm sorry. Are you blind? I'm down here." All I could see was my mother's flower bed. I shined my flashlight on it, peering closer, and there, when I crawled directly into a crushed rose bush, was a glowing ball of light. I found myself mesmerized by it, hypnotized by light that I wasn't used to whipping my head around. I searched for my brother. His shadow was gone. Closer now, the ball of light morphed into a tiny human perched on a leaf, legs swinging. The boy looked like a high schooler, glass wings poking from his back, a scowl on his face. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Mom used to warn Ross and me about the fairies when we were little. She said it was the fairies who stole our toys, made us sneeze, and the fairies who chased away our father. Ross didn't believe in them, but I was always intrigued. I asked my friends at school if they had fairies at the bottom of their yards, and they thought I was weird. I remember Mom telling us, if you do a fairy a favor, they will return it by granting you a wish. But she also warned, if you hurt a fairy, you will pay for it, and your children will pay for it, and your children's children's children will suffer. They will hunt to the end of your bloodline, and even then, their mere presence will drive adults insane. I wondered if she'd gotten that from a book before she started drinking. Mom used to tell us stories about the fairies in our yard, and how, when she was a little girl, she helped a captive fairy prince, freeing him from her neighbor's bell jar. Maybe they were protecting her after all. The one in front of me was scowling before his expression softened. "Hi," the fairy whispered, tilting his head. He looked maybe 17 or 18,